All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for logging in for our first Best Fit series class. Super excited to have you all attend our first class for our Best Fit this week, focusing on Move More, Live Better, a practical guide to getting active. It's really excited to share some fun tips for you guys this week. Hopefully, we got some fun and valuable tips to get active, to stay active, really just trying to promote some physical activity and exercise, help you guys get moving in a realistic, sustainable way. Whether you guys are looking to kind of increase your activity or to just get started, or maybe trying to get back on track, hopefully cover some fun, simple strategies to increase your daily activity, increase your exercise, maybe overcome some barriers, and maybe find some routines, some activity that you really like, you really enjoy for doing. Before we get into this week or into the class, just want to introduce myself. I know I see a lot of familiar names. My name is Ryan, one of the well-being specialists here with the Best Health team. Been here almost 6 years. I think it'll be 6 years next month. Kind of started our new program with this Best Fit class. We kind of offer some personalized exercise programs with our Best Fit, but trying to change things up, trying to add some more programming around, just trying to promote activity, promote exercise. How can we improve our health and wellness through exercise? But for those I haven't met before, I've had in classes, really excited for you guys to be here. If I have not met you before, really excited for you guys to be here as well. Just really excited to promote health and wellness through exercise, through activity, help you meet your goals, your health and wellness goals, potentially adding in some exercise. So the objective of our class here, goal of the Best Fit series, really just to promote health and wellness through regular activity and regular exercise. This week, we're really focusing on moving more, sitting less, really trying to get started with an active lifestyle or increase our activity. Hope we can find some simple, realistic ways to do that. We're starting off before we kind of get to the topics we'll talk about for that. We get to the outline of the class. Just want to ask a question for you guys. We have a couple questions here. How many of you guys struggle to get active with activity or exercise? And maybe more importantly, I'm sure a lot of you guys here, right? Why do you struggle to get active? Love to hear from you guys in the chat box. What might make you struggle to get active or maybe even stay active? I guess I'll take a step back to just some housekeeping things. I put everybody on mute just because we'll have a large class today. I think we're around 100 people already. We had over 200 register, so really excited for how many people registered, how many are attending our class. We are recording this class as well. I should have said that earlier. Recording this class, so you can always come back and watch it, or anybody that was not able to attend the live class, we're going to add it to your YouTube channel, so you guys can always come back and watch it later. You guys will always have the opportunity to come back and watch if you have to leave early or anything like that, or if your coworkers want to watch it at a later date, they can attend that or watch the recording. And you might not be able to take yourself off mute, but hopefully you can utilize the chat box as we go through. If you have questions, want to have any, share any comments, love to hear from you guys in the chat box. I'm going to try my best to keep up with everybody's chats here. So we have over 100 people. It might be tough to keep up with all of them. But some of the people mentioned just maybe not always motivated. Joint pain, that's a tough one. So bad knees, so joint pain. Time, that's a very common one. Motivation as well, so couple motivation, couple time. Time is something that almost all of us probably have to deal with a little bit. More bad knees. It's hot outside. It's really hot outside today, especially, it seems like. Motivation and time. The heat. Yeah, so lots of different reasons why we might struggle to get active and maybe even to stay active, right? The weather, joint pain is definitely a tough one. That's going to be one that's a little bit more of a true barrier, right? I feel like the weather's a little bit of an excuse, right? We could find stuff to do inside. The bad knees, right? We really have to work around those. We don't want to make our knees worse or our joints worse. But hopefully we got some fun tips for you guys to, give you some motivating reasons to get active, to stay active. I appreciate you guys sharing as well. But just kind of the main topics we'll cover today. We'll talk about the physical activity guidelines for Americans. You guys have taken some of our Go Healthy classes before. Hopefully, you guys have seen this. Talk about the benefits of regular activity, regular exercise. This will really be a good time to hopefully give you guys some motivating reasons to get active and to stay active, right? Both physical and mental and emotional well-being, how activity can improve those. Sometimes knowing those can help us kind of get started, get over some of those common barriers. And then hopefully I can spend most of the time today focusing more on how to get started, some fun ways, lots of different simple tips. How can we, truly enjoy, have some fun with our activity and exercise? That's a good one, as mentioned, not knowing really what to do. So hopefully got some good tips on that one as well. I got a little handout that I did send out in the weekly email, or the email I sent out earlier today. We'll cover that as well. All right, so starting off the class, just want to review the physical activity guidelines for Americans. Hopefully you guys have seen this before. If you've taken some of our other classes, you guys have definitely heard some of these tips or these guidelines before. Just wanted to reiterate them. The two main guidelines is to get at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity aerobic activity and at least 2 days of muscle strengthening activities. So to kind of further explain what that means, right? Moderate intensity aerobic activity is anything that gets our heart beating faster than at rest. We'll have an elevated breathing rate compared to rest. Right, so we could think of something like a brisk walk or an easy bike ride. Maybe we're taking our dog for a walk. Maybe we're doing something like gardening. Maybe something like a easy dance. Those would be considered moderate intensity aerobic activity, right? Aerobic meaning, might be synonymous with things like cardio or endurance training. We can also shoot for the goal of 75 minutes a week of vigorous intensity aerobic activity. I don't focus this one on as much, but vigorous intensity more like a run, right? If we were doing like a pretty, intense aerobics class, like a steps aerobics class, right? Really elevating our heart rate and breathing rate from rest. Maybe for swimming laps in a pool, for example. 2 days of resistance muscle strengthening activity. I would just refer this to as like resistance training. It doesn't have to be with weights. We can use our own body weight. They're a little more vague with at least 2 days a week. I would encourage everyone to try to focus on the major muscle groups of the body, trying to keep it simple, right? Can we include some sort of leg strengthening, lower body strengthening exercises, some upper body strengthening exercises, and maybe a core exercise? I think that's about as simple as we can keep it. And again, I have my handout later today to kind of show those 3 areas. What are some example exercises to meet that 2 days of muscle strengthening activities? So those are the physical activity guidelines for Americans. I also found this my physical activity plate, which kind of breaks this up into different areas, how we can combine these different areas of activity to meet these physical activity guidelines. All right, so I think this is kind of similar to the My Plate. If you guys have taken our Go Healthy class, you guys have seen the My Plate. I like the My Physical Activity Plate because we kind of can take our different areas of exercise or different activities, combine them to meet these key guidelines. Just mentioned the aerobic activity, the strengthening activity, but we can also think about flexibility or mobility. Are we able to move well through a range of motion with our upper body or lower body, right? Hopefully not feeling stiff or inflexible. We can also think about balance or stability. Can I, maintain balance, right? If, for example, if I do trip, can I quickly catch myself without falling? And you guys can kind of see, hopefully you guys can see my screen. Hopefully you guys are attending to where you guys can see my presentation. Really like the My Physical Activity Plate. We can do things at home, like playing with our dog, in transit. I don't think this one's too good with the Mid-South, right? There's not too much of at least in Memphis, I think most cities we're in, we don't have the most walkable cities, the most bikeable cities, which is kind of challenging. Other things we can add into here, right? Things at work. Can I park farther away, take the stairs? Leisurely activities like gardening. I know a lot of folks like to garden. Right? Really, what moves you? We can add all these into, combine to meet these key guidelines. So those are the two key guidelines to shoot for. Moving on to some of the benefits of regular activity, regular exercise. Again, hopefully these will kind of provide some motivating reasons to help us get started. I know knowing that we can improve heart health might not help us have more time, but hopefully we'll have some tips for that one later on as class progresses. There's a bunch of physical health benefits with regular activity, regular exercise. Both are critical for preventing and managing chronic conditions such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension. We can avoid sarcopenia. We don't want to lose muscle mass and muscle strength as we age. So again, you kind of see the main physical activity benefits, physical health benefits, I'm sorry, right? Heart health, we can improve our heart health, our blood vessel health, our lung health. And that's going to really help us reduce our risk for cardiovascular disease, reduce our risk for hypertension, or improve our blood pressure. We're going to have improved weight management. This, through regular activity, we can burn a few calories. But on top of that, if we're doing regular strength, muscle strengthening activities and aerobic activity, both of those might help us boost our metabolism, better blood glucose control, for example, help avoid dyslipidemia. Might not really be the best for losing weight, but can certainly help us manage our weight. And just mention, we can reduce the risk for several chronic diseases. Again, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension. Especially with resistance training or muscle strengthening activities, we can increase bone mineral density, which is going to help us have stronger bones. We can improve our muscular fitness, right? We're going to improve our muscular strength, our muscle mass, muscular endurance. Those are really going to help us live a long and healthy life. Both muscle mass and muscle strength are both associated with longevity. And lastly, we have improved balance, improved flexibility. Right on the last slide, we talked about stability and mobility. I think those are both kind of synonymous with balance and flexibility. Those are things that we want to be able to maintain our balance and range of motion as we age. Key for aging well and preventing injury, right? That's a huge one as we age. One fall can really be detrimental to our health and wellness long term. On top of the physical benefits, we have tons of mental and emotional benefits. I like to highlight these as well, because this can really help our overall well-being. We can reduce feelings of stress. We can reduce feelings of anxiety. For me, a huge one is improvement of mood. If I get a good exercise in, my mood tends to be elevated for a couple hours, maybe a little bit even longer afterwards. We can improve our self-esteem, right? If we're regularly exercising, regularly active, we might see improvements in our cardiovascular endurance. We start to see we're able to do more squats or more push-ups, right? We're going to be more confident in our bodies, potentially improve our self-esteem. A huge one is we can boost brain health. So especially with more vigorous intensity exercise, you guys have ever done like a circuit training class or something like that? Maybe you guys have heard of like the high intensity interval training. We're training or exercising at a high interval. We can actually release what is called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which can improve memory and improve learning. Improved sleep outcomes with regular activity. I can fall asleep quicker, experience better deep sleep. Again, lastly, we can manage depressive symptoms, right? We're not going to cure depression. We're not going to cure anxiety. We're not going to completely eliminate stress with regular activity, but we can potentially manage those feelings. Again, hopefully some good motivating reasons to get active, to stay active with both the mental and physical benefits. But moving on to how we can actually get started. How can we actually get started and stay active? So really want to encourage you guys to think about where you're at currently. How active have you been here the last maybe month or so? Maybe in the past couple of months? How active have you actually been? How sedentary have you actually been? And what would your ideal self look like? How active would you like to be? What might be realistic? I know a couple of you guys mentioned time being an issue. Right, so we don't need to set ourselves up for failure. If we know time is an issue, probably don't want to envision ourselves hitting the gym 3 hours every day, right? Might be not realistic. So think about, really be honest with yourself. Where am I at currently? What would I like to be doing? Where can I see myself in 3 months? Where can I see myself the beginning of next year? Really like to kind of start small if we're trying to start from zero, or if we're really trying to increase our activity. Yeah, I like that goal, Miss Wanda, right? 3 days a week consistently. I think that's kind of I'm going to highlight consistently, right? It could be great if we do 3 days a week for July or August, but can we do that consistently the next 3 months, the next 6 months? Consistent, consistently exercising is going to be the biggest benefit, right? But think about increasing our activity levels. We can start small. A small 10-minute walk after a meal is a great place to start. My advice would be like a 10-minute walk after our largest meal of the day. I think for a lot of us, dinner is probably our largest meal of the day. We have to go immediately after dinner, but there shortly afterwards, a quick 10-minute walk can help burn a couple calories, can help us manage our blood glucose levels after a big meal. We really want to think about how we can build it in our day. A bunch of you guys mentioned time being an issue. So again, let's be realistic with ourselves. What could I actually fit in my schedule? Especially if we're working like 2 jobs. I know I met several people in my class that have been working 2 jobs. Can we just build it into what we're already doing? Can we take the stairs at work instead of the elevator? Can we park farther away? I really like this one. Can we walk during calls? Can we walk during meetings? I think that one's maybe a little bit of a challenge. Not everyone's going to be able to be on a meeting or a call where we're just listening. We don't have to share anything. But if we do have something like that, maybe we could go for a quick walk, put our earbuds in, go for a quick walk. And again, if we're trying to increase our activity, what do you actually enjoy? Maybe you like something like dancing. I'm not a huge dancer, so like this is something that I probably wouldn't try to start doing. Maybe you like hiking. Right, maybe again, today might be not the best day to start hiking. It's so hot outside. But for example, right, we can modify our hikes. If we know it's real hot, maybe I can go for more of where I know there's shade. Just for an example, like in Memphis, if we went to Shelby Farms and walked around the Patriot Lake, there is zero shade. Probably the worst day to go walk around that lake. But maybe something like the Green Line where that has some shade, maybe that is doable. Swimming is another big one. It is hot outside. Swimming outside would be more realistic than hiking today. I think my favorite tip on this slide is to buddy up. Can we find some friends or some others that we can exercise with? To me, exercise is so much more fun with friends. You'll have more accountability, more fun. We can't find some friends to go with us. Can we potentially make friends at the gym or make friends at a class? Again, time of being a big issue. Maybe we need to schedule it, treat it like a meeting, actually put it in our calendar. We'll get that reminder. Again, we don't have to make that commitment really large. Schedule ourselves a quick little 15-minute walk. Might be easier to stick with. Also want to think about our sedentary time, not only how active we are, can we increase our activity time, but can we decrease our sedentary time? Let's be realistic. How much time are we spending watching TV or looking at a screen? I like this first tip, set a timer and stand up and move every 30, 60 minutes. This would be a tough one for me to do, but it could be a great way to break up our sedentary time throughout the day. Maybe something more realistic. I just talked about the walking meetings. A couple of my coworkers have standing desks. That can be a great way to sneak in or kind of reduce our sitting time. But can we truly break up some of that sedentary time? If we're watching TV, can we get up and stretch during some TV commercials? Can we get up and fold some clothes during the TV commercials? Sweep our floor. Again, can we get outside, between episodes? Can we go work in the garden, visit some local trails? Got some good tips about getting outside here in a couple slides. But again, I really want to encourage you guys to slowly increase your activity time, slowly decrease your sedentary time to where we're meeting these key guidelines. We're going to see tremendous health benefits. Meeting those 2 key guidelines, right? The 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity aerobic activity and 2 days of muscle strengthening activities. Both of those will help us live longer, healthier, more able-bodied lives. But really think about how you can meet these key guidelines. Maybe want to, really kind of track our activity time. That can be a great way. But I know a lot of people like to use fitness trackers. A lot of people have like the Apple Watches now or the Fitbits or some sort of other activity tracker. Even our smartphones, if you keep it in your pocket, can count steps. I put a generic goal here for steps per day. This is really going to be dependent on what you have been doing and what your goal is. I put the goal 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day. again, this really varies per person. If we've been extremely sedentary, inactive lately, maybe our goal is a lot lower. Maybe it is 3,000, 5,000 steps per day. Maybe we've already been doing 10. Maybe we want to shoot for 12. So again, this is really where it's important for us to know ourselves. What is your goal? And what's our larger overall umbrella goal? Then we can set our step count goal potentially. If we don't want to just track steps, we can use apps or journals to log our workouts to stay motivated. I find this a lot of fun. Things like, obviously, I'm sure you guys have used MyFitnessPal before. I like to use like Strava to track my bike rides, kind of see how far I've ridden, how fast I rode, etc. So even just write on paper, and just old school, used to have a journal that would log all my workouts, how much weight I did, how many sets I did, and then next week I'd go back and look at it and try to do a little bit more. Again, if we're meeting these key guidelines or moving to meet these key guidelines, really start slow, progress gradually. We can do more over time. We don't have to do it all today or all this week, but slowly increase our time, intensity, or frequency slowly. We don't have to kill ourselves. We don't want to hurt ourselves. So last page of just some fun tips. Really, again, really want to encourage you guys to find fun ways to be active. Doesn't have to be on the treadmill. It doesn't have to be lifting weights in the gym. There's a lot of other activities we can be doing. So I know of some local programs to Memphis. If you guys know any fun local programs to, Jackson or Jonesboro or, anywhere else where you guys are at, just know these ones because I'm located in Memphis. So I just want to mention these three because I think they're pretty fun. These are all outside programs. So there's this Baptist Health and Wellness series at the Overton Park Shell now, not the Levitt Shell anymore. But they have a lot of free like yoga and Pilates classes in front of I keep calling it, I want to call it the Levitt Shell, the Overton Park Shell. There's a Baptist sponsored series. There's yoga on the river. So if you guys are like closer to downtown or in Midtown, they do a lot of fun classes on the river at Tom Lee Park. They Get Outside Fitness program is at the Shelby Farms Park in Memphis. So again, ton of different classes with that one. I think all of those are free. Bring the whole family maybe even, or find someone to go with you. Those are just local to Memphis. Unfortunately, I don't really know the other areas that well. But if you can find something similar to that, I think that can be a lot of fun. We also think about like active video games, maybe kind of get into, more extremes here, like active video games, like kind of the Wii Sports, the VR headsets. I feel like kind of were a thing, kind of come back down a little bit, but the VR headsets can make it fun inside. Also really enjoy YouTube videos. Obviously, there's a bunch of fantastic apps out there that we could potentially pay for. I like to throw out the YouTube videos. There's so many YouTube channels out there that have fantastic workouts that we could really find videos that match our mood, how much time we have, what we'd like to do. These are just 3 examples. Fitness Blender, HasFit are very similar. Blogilates is obviously very similar to Pilates. There's also a lady, I think MadFit. She's got a big channel. And there are so many more out there that wonderful, video quality, wonderful workouts. Again, you can choose something that matches your mood, how much time you have, what you're looking to get out of. Yes, I'm just going to mention Apple Fitness. Yeah, so again, lots of fantastic apps out there that aren't too expensive as well. I think, is Apple Fitness still only like $10 a month, maybe? It was when it came out. It could be more money now. I like the YouTube videos because they're free. You might have to watch some ads. If we can click through some ads. Pretty well priced. So those were kind of my main tips with the class today. I did send out a handout with the email I sent out earlier this morning. Hopefully you guys got that email and could see that attachment. So I'm going to go through that handout here to finish up the class. I think the handout could really help us get started. So the first page, at the top of the first page, is kind of this physical activity assessment. Again, this is where I really want you guys to be honest with yourselves. What have you been doing here lately around activity? What barriers I've been having? How sedentary am I? How can I actually increase my activity or decrease my sedentary time? What are my goals? And then once I've really kind of thought about what I have been doing currently, what could I actually get set for myself to progress forward with our fitness goals or health and wellness goals. I did include some exercise resources again on that first page, just some exercises that we could go look at. Again, the YouTube channels I just mentioned. Put down some of the fitness apps. Miss Johnson just mentioned the Apple Fitness. I got that one on there. The Peloton app, I think, is very similar. I think the Nike Training Club app, I think all three of those are very similar. Very similar in terms of, at least they used to be, I think, like 10-ish bucks a month. I'm not sure if they still are. Other fun apps like Strava, I use that one personally to track my bike rides. But there's other fun ones, right? If you have like a Garmin, maybe we use the Garmin Connect. If we like to run, you can use those ones. I put my local Memphis area programs on there. But on the let's do this. Interesting. That's weird. All right. Well, I just had my screen just went black. Hopefully, you guys can still see me, maybe. Miss April just asked me if I'm still here. I am still here. Hopefully, you guys can see me. All right. Maybe I had too much open on my computer, maybe. All right. Glad you guys can at least hear me, at least. On the second page of the handout, I'm trying to finish on time here for everybody. You guys probably have other obligations. Hopefully, that doesn't mess up my recording either. Hopefully, we get a good recording. On the second page of the handout, kind of have a great way to get started with both of those two key guidelines, both the aerobic training and the strength training. I also included some flexibility training in here as well. Yeah, I really want to encourage you guys to start small and slowly increase your intensity. I just have two goals we could potentially set with aerobic training. I either put steps per day. We could set our goal for steps per day, or we could potentially try this workout on a specific number of days a week that you would like to set, 2 days a week, 1 day a week, whatever goal you would like to set. The workout is just to walk briskly for 3 minutes, like a brisk walk, right? A little power walk. Should be able to talk, but not. We should definitely be breathing harder, starting to sweat a little bit. Then we can walk slowly for 3 minutes. So we can kind of push our pace for 3 minutes, be a little more relaxed for 3 minutes, and we're going to do that cycle 5 times for up to about 30 minutes. With the strength training, I mentioned it earlier in today's class, kind of 3 main body areas to start to focus on at first: the lower body, the upper body, and the core. So I have 3 examples here, and I have some other examples written down. But just for an example of the lower body exercises, squats to a chair could be a fantastic place to start. I suggest choosing or starting with about 2 sets of 10 repetitions. So again, with the chair, if we need to, we can even use our hands to stabilize ourselves on a desk or on the arm. This chair does have the arms on it, but maybe we have to use the arms to help stabilize ourselves. We also do something like wall sits or lunges. For the upper body, I think if we have no equipment, something like a wall push-up could be a great place to start. We can also do it off like the back of a couch or the back of the side of our desk. Shoulder press, bicep curl, tricep extension, some other examples of some upper body exercises. For the core, I'm sure you guys would all love to do some planks. That might be my most hated exercise. Just personally. We can also do something like leg raises, some crunches. So again, just 2 times per week. These are just some examples. Also some flexibility here, running out of time. Got a calf stretch, quad stretch, hamstring stretch, shoulder stretch. Again, I want you guys to set your own goals if we're choosing steps per day or how many days we'd like to do this workout. And you can set your own goals with the strength training. I know might not all be able to do, back squats with weight. So maybe we can start with squats to the chair. Now, burpees might be worse than planks. Yeah, all right, I'll agree with that one maybe. I think someone asked about hang on, let me scroll back up. Yeah, what is a realistic steps per day? Again, that's going to be up to you to set, Brenda. Right? And this is where we're kind of knowing what we have been doing, we can set a baseline. If I have been getting 5,000 steps per day, maybe I can increase that by 20% and go with 6,000 steps per day. Again, getting 2,000 steps per day, maybe I shoot for 3. Right? If I've only been getting 2, I certainly don't want to go shoot for 10 because that'd be a huge, 5-time increase would be unrealistic, really tough to sustain. It's really want to encourage you guys to set your own goals with that and slowly increase. Maybe we have to do like a baseline week potentially, right? Especially if I have like an Apple Watch, maybe I can go back and look, what did I do last week on average? Then I can set my goals. Or if I don't have that average, maybe I could just try that this week. What have I already been doing, or what I typically get? Then I can set some goals. So that's the handout. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions on the handout. Again, the aerobic training, the strength training are going to help us meet those 2 key physical activity guidelines, which will help us live a long and healthy life. We also run out of time, so if you guys have to leave, I understand. I'll try to wrap up quick. And I can obviously help answer any questions at the end here. But we do offer some fitness facility discounts. If you're a Baptist member, you can go to www.baptistleader.org/discounts. This includes all the discounts Baptist offers us, but we can find the fitness facility discounts that might be appropriate to us. I know, for example, I think like the Y gives us some discounts. That's like waiving the initiation fees, maybe 10% off per month, which that does add up. So check out the fitness facility discounts. Also want to promote our upcoming Flourish program. So our new registered dietitian, Hannah, helped us create our new Flourish program, our 12-week journey to full body wellness. This is kind of replacing our Go Healthy program. Really want to encourage you guys. We already have the flyer. I don't have the link to sign up here handy, but you guys can go ahead and sign up. Classes start in September. 12-week program focusing on nutrition, diet, obviously nutrition, diet, focusing on nutrition, exercise, sleep, relationships, and mental well-being. So really want to encourage you guys. We can earn some rewards for attending the Flourish program as well. That should be a really fun program. New fun tips. But just to wrap things up, again, really want to encourage you guys, can we be committed to getting started with activity? Can we be committed to being active and regularly exercising, right? Not just interested, right? We want to be committed, right? If we're interested, we're going to find those excuses, right? It's hot outside. I don't have time. Can we be truly committed to increasing our activity, decreasing our sedentary time? We're going to find ways to get it done, to get it into our routine if we're truly committed. Right? Can we keep it simple? Can we find activities you love? Right? What is actually fun? What is actually enjoyable? Right? Is it a dance class? Is it gardening? Like this gentleman here? Is it, going for a hike? We're all gonna be a little bit different, right? Is it going swimming in the summertime since it's so hot? It's never too late to start. Even if we feel like we're out of shape, we can get started today. It's only going to get worse if we don't start today. It's only going to get tougher. I don't want to say worse. It's going to get tougher. Right? Muscle strength, muscle mass. That is very much like even cardio, right? That is much of a use it or lose it thing. So it's never too late to start. It can be really tough to get started, but as we progress, as we are more consistent with that exercise, hopefully we improve our cardiovascular fitness, improve our muscular fitness, improve our confidence around those activities. But last tip, pick one small change. What's realistic little small change I can set today to meet those key guidelines to start to improve my health and wellness. Obviously, let us know how we can help. Feel free to reach out to us at Best Health. Here's our email and phone number. But if you guys have some questions, I'd love to hear from you guys. I got 2 things for you guys. Love to hear from you guys. What's one small change you think you can get started with this week related to our class or related to health in general? I think that could be all right. Be awesome if exercise or activity related. I guess maybe 3 things. What's one activity that you've been enjoying that you think maybe some of your classmates might be interested in trying? And lastly, any questions about what we covered today? Any questions around meeting the guidelines? Any questions around maybe the strength training? I know hopefully I kind of explained, the three body areas appropriately, or what would be considered, some of those exercise types. Someone asked before I got into asking those, how do we access the handout? So I did send out the handout. I did send out an email to everybody this morning. I don't know what time did I send it out. Probably like 10 o'clock maybe. I did attach it as an attachment. So hopefully that's a PDF attachment. Hopefully you guys can get that and either see it on your computer or see it on your phone. Hopefully you guys can potentially print it off as well. If you have any trouble with that handout, you didn't get it, you didn't see it, either feel free to email us at Best Health or email me as well. If you guys did get at least one of my emails, hopefully you guys can respond to that email. Again, I think that handout could be a great place to start, right? Little self-assessment, set some goals on the second page. That could be great. Hopefully that answered your question, Michelle. Miss Kimberly trying to walk more. Miss Barbara doing some chair exercises. Johnson mentioned just have to make time for exercise. Clay looking to get into the gym, doing some more weight training. Miss Brenda, just be more consistent. Try to aim for 5,000 steps per day. Miss Wanda got a kettlebell. I like that. That could be fun. Yeah, so I noticed a lot of you guys are still here. But hoping to do more classes like this with different topics. So maybe we could do some like with, focusing more on like resistance training, for example. We could talk about using some kettlebells, other ways to do some weight training, make that fun. That's not just, in the gym potentially or just using machines. Other fun classes like using technology, using the fitness trackers, using the apps. How can we use those to our advantage? What does that look like? So I've got some ideas. Hopefully we can have some more class like this. If you guys have been enjoying this class or have enjoyed this class, hopefully we can set up some more Best Fit series classes in the upcoming months. Trisha, walking inside, 10-minute increments. So staying cool on the inside, I like that. Tabby just doing what you can for starters. Monica doing some Zumba and some dance. Okay, I haven't heard of this one. Miss Patrice mentioned Walk Away the Pounds video. I might have to check that one out. I haven't heard of that one. Can be done inside. Again, maybe staying cool. Not going to feel like we're going to die or pass out, or obviously want to be safe if we're exercising outside, right? It is actually extremely hot. Teresa's just saying thank you. Michelle asking what was the title of the email sent. What was it? I think it was the Best Fit series. Move More, Live Better, I think was what I sent. I think is what I included in the title today. I think. I'd have to go back and look. I can try to maybe just send that to you. Okay, got it. Sweet. Sheila trying to walk 20 minutes every day. I like that. Every day. No days off. Miss Sykes starting a squat challenge. That's another one I kind of failed to mention during like the social aspect. Doing challenges. I think that's super fun. You can get your friends involved or any of your workout buddies involved, whether it's in person or sharing that information online or kind of gamify it a little bit, or get her husband to do it with you. Again, really appreciate you guys being here today. Hope you guys enjoyed the class. Had over, I think, 100 people in attendance. That's awesome. Hopefully we can do some more classes like these in the future. Please let me know if you guys have any trouble with the handout or have any questions around the handout or the exercises from the handout. We're definitely going to be doing some more classes like these in the future with a variety of different topics. Hopefully, again, keeping things fun so we can meet these key guidelines to improve our health and wellness. Yeah, someone asked, is this a free site? I think that site should be free for all those. I think you I thought I clicked on some of them and saw them, Miss April, for the exercise library on Ace Fitness. I believe those you should be able to access that. Again, things like YouTube, I think that's a super valuable tool as well to find different exercises. So, but if you guys have any questions about specific exercises or anything like that, you can always email us, email me. Well, again, just going to wrap up the class. Let us know how we can help. Hope you guys enjoy the program. I really enjoyed going through this today with everybody. Hopefully, you guys can meet your health and wellness goals, improve our health and wellness through some fitness, through some activity, find some activities that we truly love. Can we truly be dedicated? Can we truly committed to increasing our activity and our exercise? So I appreciate it. Let us know how we can help. And you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys again in the future. Take care.